So, hello, Bethany. I would love if you could introduce yourself.
All right. I'm Bethany Sarai. That's my middle name, but it's just easier to go by. Um, it's how I'm known on credits when my boyfriend and I do short films or, anything like that. So it's just easier. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just me. And Stacy, you and I met years and years ago. Well, we were in the same group on Facebook, and I think it's since disbanded, but
What group was that?
it was a boudoir group, and it was like the OG boudoir group.
Peace, Love, Boudoir. I bet
Yes,
that was it. Yeah.
yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
were you doing boudoir at the time? I can't remember.
yeah, I was. I don't do it I just do it really now, word of mouth, just like if a friend wants a shoot, or I'll recommend it if a friend is feeling down, or like, hey, let's just have some fun and play dress up,
Oh, I love that. And
Um,
it seems
so
like
not
a
as a
lot of people
business.
a lot of people have progressed from boudoir and have turned it into something maybe more meaningful. Like, I mean, come on, you're doing these amazing short films. And so
Oh, thank you.
that is quite a step up, I think, from boudoir photography because you're affecting more people.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like we should take a step back and let's talk about how this all started. So the other day, you posted on Facebook and it tagged me because you mentioned my name that you had a bucket list item of doing a photo session with me and
Yeah.
you were putting it into the universe. And I thought, you know what? Like, let's make this happen. And so I reached out to you and said, I would be willing to do this shoot if you could make your way out here to New York City from Florida, where you live.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that. What made this a bucket list item for you?
I've always admired your work. I've always admired the way you write. Because it's not a sale for you, it's about this relationship with this person, and they're not clients. And I think that comes across through your work. And uh and so yeah, I've just always admired, like I said, your work, and you as a person. You've been so open and vulnerable throughout your personal journey since I've
My
known you,
God.
and it's so nice because it's like, okay, this person is being open with everyone, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who garnered a lot of peace, or just compassion, or just not feeling
Oh,
alone.
God. I really appreciate that because, I walked away from my whole life recently. Um, if you were following along, my mother died and I was trying to be with her and walked away from my business, my friends, my city, my home, my car. I even sold my car. And through all of that, I also lost my Facebook page. It got hacked. I had lost
Yeah.
my website, like all of these ways for me to communicate and connect with others was lost. And so I'm starting that over again. And so to hear that, I don't know, somebody cared about what I had to say is really, really nice. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for that.
You're welcome. And I mean, I know I'm not the only person. And years ago, you did a photo shoot for someone, and you did a specific blog post, and you asked me if you could use one of my poems in the blog post, and it was about the mother.
I think that was for my Bag Lady project.
Yes, yes, that's
Yes.
exactly it.
Oh my gosh, Bethany, that is so wild because I'm thinking about starting that project up again. So we need to
Yeah,
revisit that because I
yeah.
lost everything everyone wrote for me was on my website and I lost all of that. So we may have to do that again
Oh, wow. Yeah.
if you have that. But
Yeah, I
okay.
do.
So
Yeah.
enough about me.
That
This
meant the world to me. I was like,
oh,
wow, somebody heard me, just like you were just saying. Um,
well, you also recently and hopefully we'll be able to share the short film that you shared with me.
yeah.
And I cried my eyes out watching that. It was such a powerful piece. And
you.
And I had asked you if anybody had really seen it because I feel like everybody should have seen it. It's that
Yeah.
good and that
Thank you.
powerful. And you said, you put it out there, but you're not sure anybody even looked at it. And oh my gosh, is that not our world today?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
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 So I want to help share that for you through this.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody will watch this and take something from that I think could save a life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would love that, even as cliche as it sounds, even if it saves one person, that's worth it.
So nobody knows really what we're talking about yet. So let's get to the whole thing that happened after I offered to do this shoot. And you let me know why it actually meant even more to you.
Hmm.
Do you mind sharing some of
No,
that?
not at all. We were talking about dates and what was going to work for both of us, and I was looking at dates at plane tickets, and I was like, "Oh, this is a good deal on this weekend." And I looked at the date a little closer, and it's basically the 25th anniversary of the day that I lost my mom to her battle with depression and suicide. So, yeah, so it's like, hmm, wasn't so it's like it's a big deal. And then I was aware of what you went through with your mother from your Facebook posts. And then when you said the October 3rd is your mom's birthday, and it just all, I was like, this is kismet. Like it's all supposed to happen.
I couldn't believe it. It's a way, I think, for both of us to honor our mothers through kind of just helping each other at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
moment. So
And really I was thinking about it too, and it's like, well, why is this photo shoot for my mother? But it's really I think both of our mothers would want us to celebrate ourselves, and it's something that my mom never thought herself worthy of or important enough, or you know what I mean?
yeah.
Why would I draw that attention to myself? That's vain, or and something like that.
It was a little bit of a different world then too for them,
Yeah,
I think. Although I have to say, my mom, I found a boudoir picture of. She had hired a photographer to come to our house when I was probably like 6 years old, probably while I was in kindergarten. And he took some photos of her wearing a bikini. I mean, that was like boudoir back then.
yeah.
But she was holding my big teddy bear. It was the funniest thing
Oh,
to
that's
find.
hilarious.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So anyway,
That's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, this is like a story of mothers, but also just being our own individual selves, I think, too,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I lost my mom when I had just turned 20, and I had just had my first baby. She was turning 3 months old the day that it happened. Um, so I still very much needed my mother. So I've spent these past 25 years basically thinking about the ways that I didn't feel loved as a child and making sure I did that with my kids. Like my mom didn't play with me, and it was
Yeah.
a difficult relationship. I think she was just could not handle the idea of losing her third and final child after she had lost two of her three children.
The
And
ultimate
so I think
loss.
there's a level of grief that just pushes you away from the people that you fear losing the most.
Oh my gosh, that is the biggest truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in a time where as a child I needed her the most, she mentally could not really provide that. I mean, she was great as far as we always had a very clean house. She made home cooked meals, and we had clean clothes and all of that. But as far as like the emotional side, she wasn't very like nurturing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I've spent, you know, the past 25 years like comparing myself to her as from my perception of what and my judgment as a mother of what kind of mother she was.
Do you think that that taught you to be more nurturing? Because when I see such a beautiful soul, and I could see you being warm and nurturing and just a beautiful person
Oh,
to
thank you
have
so
in
much.
one's life. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I from a very young age, I remember thinking I didn't really have career goals. I always wanted, and I'm very much a feminist, but that was my choice and my dream and goal was that I always wanted to be married and have kids and have a partner, husband who wanted to support me in whatever I wanted to do, should I change
Yeah.
my mind about all that, you know what I mean? Um,
Yes.
but uh, but yeah, I wanted it from a very young age. And I think also because I was so young when I became a mother, I don't know, maybe I still had that energy and attitude of, oh, we're gonna play, or I don't know. I definitely was I love you, I love you, I love you. Like it was always very important to me to like receive questions or problems or whatever from them. Uh, receive that with love and compassion and understanding, and we can talk this through. Um,
Right.
and never make them feel like they were annoying me, you know,
Oh my
and because
God.
that's how my mom,
Oh,
that's my memory of my experience with my mother is she was annoyed by me, like just so bothered that I would need something.
oh my
Uh,
God. I want to cry because that was my experience with my mother, who also, I didn't tell you this, but she also suffered from depression. She was diagnosed with bipolar depression, and so I felt like I didn't understand her a lot of the times, and that I
yeah,
annoyed her. Even
yeah,
trying to do chores or something good and
yeah,
helpful, it was annoying. So,
yeah. I mean, just for example, there was one time when I was like 11, 10 or 11, and I said, uh, I'm going to go. It was the evening time, and I remember she was sitting in the living room. We were living on base because my dad was in the Navy. And I just said, oh, I'm going to go take a shower now or whatever. And so I went in the bathroom and I came out, and my mom goes, I thought you said you were going to take a shower. And I said, well, yeah, I just did. And she said, but I didn't hear the shower. I heard the bath. And I said, well, yeah, I took a bath. Like I washed myself. You know what I mean? I bathed. Like, what's the difference? And she's like,
yeah.
you're lying to me. You're a liar. It was just like, I, okay. So it was just very much of like, okay, what am I gonna, what do I think I'm doing right? And then it's going to turn around and I'm going to be in trouble for it because I did it wrong.
So it's almost
I'm
like you
still
were,
like that.
maybe you felt like maybe you were abandoned even while she was here, but then like,
Absolutely.
oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh my gosh. This is just, I can't believe this is your story and this is what you've experienced. And I really just
Yeah.
think you're such a beautiful soul, and your
Thank you.
poetry speaks to that.
Thank
And
you.
I had asked you if you would mind sharing any. Would you happen to have any on hand?
Oh, well, yeah, I could read my Love is a Battlefield poem.
Ooh.
I like this one. This war we wage is fought on battlefields, made muddy by the tears of fallen lovers, drafted into the fight, or did you volunteer? Armor on, no time to check for weaknesses. Heart on your sleeve. You are ready. Are you ready? This war we wage is fought in our minds and our souls, leaving us wounded and stronger.
Oh, oh my God. I love it. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks.
One question I have had that I ponder a lot for everybody with all of our struggles in life is like, what or who are your saving graces? What has helped you get through all of this? Any tips, techniques, people that you're grateful for?
I'm very lucky because I probably couldn't list them all. Um, that makes me want to cry. But I've had a lot of people to support me throughout my life. And again, it sounds cliche, but my kids,
Oh,
they are what I am, most proud of. And they're grown-ups now, and it's just so fun. It's like you're reaping the benefits of what we sowed,
Oh my
between me
gosh.
and all of the co-parents. um, all of us co-parents contributed to how amazing these kids turned out. And it's just so fun when your adult kid is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm gonna come over." I'm like, "Okay," or "Let's go do this, let's go do that. Um,
Oh,
so,
wow. That's a great answer.
yeah, I definitely my kids. On My aunt, my mom's middle sister. I have two aunts, love them dearly both. But my Aunt Gail, especially, really just shifted into that motherly role for me and has been all these years. She feels more like an older sister, but I know my mom would be really just happy to know that Gail did that. And I think my mom always knew, that Gail would be like that.
I'm so grateful that you had her and now your kids, and that warms my
Yeah.
heart. Well, I have found that throughout the years, clients come to me they sort of use their photos as markers to a moment where they begin again as their best selves. And a lot of times it's a transformational moment like marriage,
Mhm.
divorce, starting a new career, leaving a career, all of these different things. And it's sort of like they create who they want to be in the photos and use it as inspiration. So, what kind of transformation do you envision for yourself through this? Who is that woman? And what do you hope this photo shoot helps you see in yourself?
I, the past couple years, a few years ago, probably like 7 years ago, I lost 110 pounds. Just I got a pole off of Amazon and just started doing YouTube videos, and and also it wasn't just, I completely changed everything. But the past like 2 years, I've put some weight back on. So, I'm confident, like I'm a confident gal, but I'm also a photographer. So there are pictures, like I don't like really to see pictures of myself. And maybe it's just because I think I look better than what I do. I don't know. But
Yeah,
and
but is it candid photos? Is it just candid photos that
y-
you see people taking?
well, yeah, and it's
Because,
also, being a photographer, like I never know what to do. I still don't know what to do. Like I can tell people what to do because
yeah,
I can see them, but I can't step outside of myself and be like, do this, do that,
it's like a
So I'm
moment
like,
of
I don't
panic.
know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Ah!
yeah,
Well, I have you. I have your
yeah,
back. You're going to look amazing. And, when you put yourself in these situations, especially I'm talking very personally now, because I also have gone through some changes through the whole perimenopause issue and grieving my mother. But when I do like these videos, or I had a friend, he wanted to photograph me and I let him. He's a professional, he's amazing. And I actually liked myself. I was shocked. So when you put yourself in these situations, I think it ends up being better, a
yeah,
lot better than we envision it could be.
yeah, yeah. And my post was, this is a bucket list item, and I would love to be photographed by Stacey Frazier. And um, for me, I'm going to take the opportunity. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, thank you for the offer, but can we wait until I just want to lose
Yeah.
some weight first. Because it's all about the experience. And I know that you and your makeup artist are going to make me look fabulous. I'm totally confident in that. And I
Yes.
think it's going to be really fun. And it's funny when you mention transition, because I do feel like I'm in a transition. I'm like right at the ledge, of okay, I gotta do this and do that. And yeah. And so I think this will be great. it's always interesting to see yourself in another person's eyes. And that's
Yes.
one comment that that my clients have told me is they're like, wow, like you really see me. And so, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's probably like, it's the whole experience. I feel like I was rambling.
Well, no, all of it is important information for me. So, but I do have a question. Like, when you see the final images, what are you hoping to feel or see?
Um, Really confidence and pride, and I want to be proud of myself for doing it because it is stepping out of my comfort zone because I don't like to be photographed. You know what I mean? And so
Yes.
um, it's a challenge for myself to just be like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And and I could not say no to your amazing offer, and I was like, I will make it happen however which way.
Yes. I love that. Okay. So, when you imagine doing this shoot, what do you see in your mind? Like, is it glamorous? Is it raw, bold, sweet, edgy, vulnerable, totally candid, or a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can it be all of the above? Because I feel like that's me. Um,
Okay,
I
yes.
Yeah, I love styles from all different, you know, decades, and I mix and match decades.
I had asked, so this is for you, but because it's on an important date that we're doing the shoot, if there was some sort of prop that you wanted to bring that might have to do with your mother, or if you just want this to be totally about you, if there are any items that you could see bringing, it could even be a scarf,
Yeah,
accessories.
yeah, yeah. I would have to think about that and look and see what what I even still have. Um,
Okay.
I have her wedding picture,
Oh my gosh. Oh
and
my
that's my
goodness.
oldest. That's my oldest. And these pictures are a few years old, but
Oh,
um,
I love this.
yeah,
And that wedding picture, wow. It's so
yeah,
gorgeous. Okay, yeah, I mean, bring it.
yeah,
Um, but a lot of times with accessories, they give you something to do with your hands. So
yeah,
you can
yeah,
play a little more and that relaxes us because we get kind of
yeah,
rigid sometimes and like,
yeah.
what do I do with my hands? Well, play with
Maybe
them.
and maybe I'll be able to find some kind of like Stevie Nicks like 70s style like flowy dress or something because
Yes.
that was her back in the day, you know.
Oh my gosh, I love that idea. What are you most excited about with the shoot? Is it the location, the images, the experience, or just letting loose and having fun?
Yeah, I'm most excited about pushing myself out of my comfort zone, making myself do it, even though it's something I've wanted done, you know. But and really, uh, I sound like a fangirl, but to be able to say like, I got photographed by Stacey Frazier, and these
Oh
images
my
are amazing,
God.
you know. And
So sweet. Thank you.
yeah, of course. I mean, really, it's the same reason I flew out from Washington to Norfolk to, have a session with Lysandra. And that was almost 10 years ago.
It's hard to find photographers that you feel comfortable working with. And especially if you're not a photographer, like we are photographers, so we know what to look for. But
Yeah.
I feel like, well, it's much more difficult for them because they don't know what to look for. But then when you do know what to look for, you have to go across the country for it because
Yeah, you're
it's
pickier.
hard to
Yeah.
find.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any rituals or little things you might want to do to prepare for the shoot? Like, I don't know, creating a playlist,
Yeah.
cultivating a mindset, or like doing goddess baths?
Yeah. Music. That's a great idea to curate a playlist because music is huge in my life, and always has been. And I know a lot of people say that, but I have heard people say that like they don't have a favorite band. But like, they're just like, yeah, I just don't really care about music like that. And I'm like, I don't, I don't understand you.
Yeah,
I
I
can't relate at
know.
all. Um, yeah, because
Okay.
that's definitely going to happen.
You'll have to share it with me.
Yeah.
And then if this photo shoot had a soundtrack, what vibe would it be?
I love really moody stuff. I just love so much stuff. So like there's a group called A Fine Frenzy, and their song Almost Lover. Oh,
Oh.
if I have to cry, that song will get me every time. But energetic stuff, I'm really into Chapel Roan.
Yes,
I
she's amazing.
I freaking love her. We needed this. Like, this is what we needed. Um, I love her style of mixing the old 80s sounds in a different way and playing with all of that. And she's just super fun and theatrical and costumey. And, I'm an ex-theater
Yeah.
kid, so I definitely feel
Oh
that.
my gosh. Well, welcome to New York.
Yeah, I know, I know.
So, will this be your first time here?
No, no, I've been a few times because my boyfriend's family, he grew up on Long Island. And
Oh,
yeah, and his sister lives up there in the city. And
oh,
so
great.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
so
that's
we've been up there
perfect.
a couple of times. And last year, a friend and I came up in November to see Melissa Etheridge on Broadway.
Oh,
It was her
wow.
closing show, yeah.
Oh man, that must have been
And
amazing.
it was amazing. It was so cool because there it was. Oh, she had this huge screen, on the back of the stage, and had it was basically like she did her autobiography as a show, and it was so
Oh,
personal. Like, she came down to the center of the audience. There was a little stage, and it was like sitting around a campfire with Melissa Etheridge. It was
wow.
so cool, and she has I guess, a documentary coming out about it too.
Okay, I'll look for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but
So,
that
speaking of
was fun.
celebrities, if you had to choose one celebrity to be your ultimate hype girl or even your alter ego at the shoot, who would you choose?
Uh, um, hmm. Probably like, I don't know. I think Margot Robbie is really nice. Like, I've heard she's actually like very kind, and is
Oh,
that like encouraging in person.
oh, I love
Um
that.
yeah, and I mean, she's Barbie. Who doesn't want
Yeah,
Barbie at their photo shoot?
I love that answer. Okay, I mean, come on, Barbie was amazing.
Yeah, yes. My boyfriend and I took Morgan, my youngest daughter, to see Barbie in the theater, and I mean, I was blown away just because I was like, oh my gosh, the detail, the set design, like they got everything right. And this is like
Yes.
seeing my toys come to life. This is crazy. So I was already super hyped about it. But at the end of the movie, when we left the theater, my daughter pulled me like into a little alcove and just like fell into me crying. And I
Oh,
was not expecting that
oh,
reaction. I didn't think about it affecting her in a deep way.
well,
But
I didn't go in
she
there
related
thinking,
to all of it. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't go into that movie thinking it was going to affect me in a deep way either. I was shocked that there I
Yeah.
was crying at a Barbie movie.
Same. I was like, am I crying at Barbie? Yeah.
I know. Oh my God. It was so necessary. We needed that.
Yes.
It was like a collective cry over
Yeah.
Barbie. What's one thing you absolutely need to do or have on the morning of your shoot?
Um, I definitely have to have a C4. I know. I'm like, people are like, oh, I have a cup of coffee in the morning. I'm like, those are rookie numbers.
Okay, so that's hilarious. While I'm having my coffee, I'll be imagining you having your
Yeah.
C4.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I need the caffeine.
So
It's
we
just
talked
free, so I got that going for me.
That's hilarious. That's really good. I mean, I drink black coffee, so I don't do the sugar thing, but I do like sugar. It's such a shame it's so bad for us.
Yeah. Do you know it's more addictive than cocaine?
I've heard that. It's insane. So I was always the person that avoided sugar. Like I never had desserts. I would rather have fruit than sugar my whole like existence as a childhood and then
Yeah.
into adulthood. But then the pandemic happened and I was like, what all am I denying myself in this world? Because I'm going to partake of that right now at
Yeah.
this very moment. And so I baked myself cakes and all these
Yeah.
stupid things. And it developed a taste for sugar. But I know that once I wean myself off it more, I mean, I have, but I still will have like a slice of cheesecake in New York City, like once a week, maybe. Oh
Yeah.
God, it's so bad. But anyway,
Bad, you know.
we, yeah,
You
we have
gotta
to treat
yeah, don't
ourselves.
beat yourself up. It's only once a week. It's not every
Right.
day.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Anyway, okay, so we talked about what the playlist vibe would be. Do you have a go-to pump up type anthem song that you can listen to before your session to help give you courage and
Um,
confidence?
it's something so random, but I just love this song, and I can't remember the name of the guy that does it because he's like from Louisiana, and I randomly found him, but he sings this song. Here we go. Don't bother me. Smoke Dog 870. But he sings this song called Don't Bother Me. So if you look him up on YouTube, it's so good because he's
Oh,
just like, you know what? You do you and I'm gonna do me and it's all good. You don't come at me and I'm not gonna come at you. It's just like don't bother me and I'm not gonna bother you. I'm just trying to be positive and have, fun and
oh, I
um
love that. That's a
yeah,
good
so like you come
message.
at me with negativity, like you can go,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a fun like I don't know, dance vibe, chill,
Oh,
chill,
fun.
chill dance vibe, not like club dance.
Oh my.
It's a good like it's a good barbecue song.
Oh, a good barbecue song. I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
it. I found one recently. This woman is such a badass. Like, she's making these faces in her performances that I think would be deemed as unattractive according to the male gaze, but like super attractive for the female gaze. Sort of like, okay, I'm backtracking a little, but during the Olympics, these synchronized swimmers, I don't know what team it was, but they came bursting out of the water with these faces that were like full of anger and like, we are going to kick your ass. And we're not used to seeing that, especially
yeah,
for women performing anything. And so I thought, wow, that was powerful. And it's because they were like, fuck you. We're not smiling for your asses anymore, you know?
yeah,
But I get that same sense from this Emile, the lead singer for Emile and the Sniffers. And whatever her first song is that's trending on Spotify, it places top.
oh, okay.
It's
Look it up.
just such a kick-ass anthem, kind of punk rock.
Yeah,
She's got like a Jagger swagger. Like she's just interesting and
yeah,
cool, you know? So anyway, I didn't mean to share that also, but thought maybe you'd want to check it out.
yeah, yeah, I do. Yes, yeah.
And
And
I'm gonna
actually,
check out yours.
it made me think of there's actually a band called In This Moment, and she's very theatrical. She does her own costumes and makeup and design and all of that. Yes, her songs will definitely get your energy going, and you're like, yeah, I can do this. you know.
Love it. What do you hope that this shoot helps you realize about yourself or helps you let go of?
I guess if I'm super honest with myself, it would be just that I'm worth it, that I don't need a special occasion or a special reason to go and do this, that I don't owe anybody an explanation, and I don't feel like I do owe anybody an explanation.
Ah,
Um, But I think just within myself, just helping me believe that, I'm worth it. I guess I feel like sometimes like you had plans for life and they didn't turn out the way you expected, and then you have to reroute, and
Yeah.
you feel like, oh well, I didn't do these things, or this thing failed, or like what do I have to show for my accomplishments at this point in my life? And I know with my personal beliefs are that if you're alive, you succeeded. Like if you survived everything life has thrown at you so far, you succeeded. And you may not be doing or where you are today, but you're here and available to make it happen, you know?
That is so inspirational. Oh, yeah, it's true.
Like I always say, my worst day hasn't killed me yet, so it can't get that bad.
What's the one message that you would want to share with someone else who might be thinking about doing a photo session like this, but might be hesitating for one reason or another?
I think what I just said about you're worth it right now. You don't need to wait for a special occasion. You are the special occasion,
Oh,
you know, and yeah. And you can't wait for like the perfect time, because, I'm a mother of three, and I got pregnant twice on birth control. And so, I hear people saying all the time, oh, we want to have kids, we're waiting for the right time or whatever. And I'm always like, that's great, yeah, definitely plan while you don't have any right now, save your money, all that stuff. That's wonderful. At the same time, there's never a perfect time. The perfect time is when the opportunity presents itself.
yep, it's so true. And as a photographer, I've had so many people say, "Oh, I've watched you for like 2 years now, and I've wanted to do a session, but I'm going to wait till I lose 10 pounds." And then guess what? 2 years goes by, and they've gained 20 instead of losing 10. And they wish they would
Exactly.
have done it at the beginning. I also want to say that it does not matter how much you weigh. Do the damn shoot. Do not base it around that, because
Exactly.
it's going to make you feel better about yourself, and you realize it's never about that. It's about what you're bringing to the table, your personality, your sense of style,
Hmm.
all of that stuff is what projects, not your weight that you have in your head as being wrong, which
Yeah,
probably every single one of us thinks it's wrong at whatever stage we're in. So it's never going to win that battle.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And when I lost the weight, people were telling me I was too skinny. And I was like, well, where were you when I was obese? Like you weren't saying you were worried about my health then, but now that I'm skinny,
Yeah.
you're saying you're worried about my health. You either care about my health, or you have an issue with me, losing weight, and whatever my body is doing, it's none of your business.
Right. That's the truth.
Yes.
So, what is one thing that you're looking forward to the most about New York City besides the photo shoot, of course?
Probably the weather, because it's still like 90 degrees here in
Oh my
Jacksonville,
God,
Florida.
really?
Yes, yes. And
Oh,
it's been, well, I know the shoot's in October, but it's been raining nonstop for the past week, and people are flooded and like all this craziness. But yeah, it's so hot, and I'm hoping it's going to be like I could wear, a sweater or something.
can I just tell you, this is my first New York City summer, and I still have hot flashes. Like I'm still that perimenopausal. Well, actually, I think I'm menopausal now. It's transitioned to that. But oh my God, I am from Las Vegas, and it gets over 100 degrees there every summer. That is nothing compared to heat in the 90s with like just the humidity. That's what killed
Yes,
me. Oh my God. Like I am
yes.
a fan girl now. Like, I bring a fan everywhere I go. I don't care.
Yes, yeah. And the other thing about the city too, I realized when we were up there in the summer was um, there's buildings everywhere, so there's no breeze. The breeze
Oh
is blocked
yeah,
by
that's
all of the
true.
buildings. So
That is
yeah,
true.
so when you really are in stifling, stagnant heat when you're walking around.
especially when you go down into the subways. Oh my God.
Oh,
It's
oh,
just, yeah. But now the weather has turned and it's so beautiful outside. I just want to live outside now. So you're coming at the right time for sure.
yeah. Good. Yay.
Okay. So, do you have any last thoughts on how you're feeling about this journey together or anything you'd like to say before our session?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. It feels surreal, to even be talking to you right now. It's kind of like this out of body thing and I shared the post when I was like, this is a bucket list item to be photographed by her. And I was trying to think of how to caption it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put this out into the universe and manifest this. And then it's like, wow, it actually happened. No?
The universe sometimes listens. You know what? I think the universe always listens. I think
Yeah,
we usually get things that we're ready for. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of bad things happen too, but like when I think about the bad things in my life, I think, well, it's made me who I am, I
yeah,
like who I am, so I can't discount
exactly,
any of it. But I mean,
exactly.
some things should never happen. And I have to say that I think that's your story. It's just, when I watched the video, I just thought people need to protect you for the rest of your life. Like, you are someone that just needs to be cared for by the whole world. You have such a
Thank you.
beautiful
That
soul,
means
seriously.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so I hope that if we haven't shared it in the video, then we will provide a link for everybody to see it because I think
Yeah,
it's really important for people
yeah,
to see.
yeah. And really, we made that short film, that movie in just a few hours, and I just sat down and started writing it. And he said, "You write it. I'm gonna shoot it. You have to write your story." And I
Wow.
I wrote it, and yeah, the whole realization about the theme parks, because I was like, wow, those that was the only vacations we went on. Those were the only ones. And I'll leave that as a teaser. I'll let people click on the link to watch the video. Um, but yeah, I would love to share that with people. I would love for people to see it and get get any benefit from it. I was thinking about, like, I really hope that I'm not looking for people to be like, oh, poor Bethany. That's not it at all. Like, I hope it shows someone um, who may be struggling that this is what you leave behind. This is what you're going to leave behind if you
Oh,
don't get
yeah.
help. And it's the people who love you, the people who will think about you every day for the rest of their lives.
Oh,
And then you have the really sad case of Sinead O'Connor and losing her son to suicide and then not being able to handle it
oh,
herself. Um, it's just, people, people love you. People want you here, even when I feel like you are being so loving to me, and I really appreciate that. There's lots of times, because of my relationship with my mom and growing up, and just relationships that didn't work out as an adult, and where you can I yes, I have this like positive disposition, but I also struggle with depression myself. But having gone through it with my mom, I'm like, that would I would never, I would that's never been an option, never going to be an option, because I can't imagine doing that. I can't imagine doing that to my kids. And
yeah.
so, as much compassion as and empathy as I have for where she was mentally, I do still have anger, towards her, about like, how could you do this to me?
I
Um,
bet.
yeah. And, yeah, I mean, I could. I could go on about how the homicide detectives treated my father um, from the local sheriff's office. It was, yeah.
Well,
But, you know, they,
what do you think about like society? How society can be better at helping to prevent this, or individually helping to prevent this with our circle of people that we are
yeah.
close with?
Individually, I think, pay attention to your friendship patterns, because the obvious, you have different friends. Like, yeah, I have some of my closest friends I've had my whole life. We live in the same city and we see each other maybe 2 or 3 times a year just
Oh
because
no.
we have all these different things going on. But we know we still love each other. And that is our friendship pattern. I
Hmm.
don't know if that's a thing. I just made that up. And then you have the friends that will check in with you every day. And so if there's a day that they don't, you're like, okay, maybe they're busy, 2 days, 3 days go by and they're not checking in with you, or then yeah, reach out to people when you see. I've had friends on Facebook that I've never met in person, even, but like, hey, if I'm used to seeing their posts a lot and then I notice they're not posting, I'm like, hey, I'm just checking on you. Are you good? Is everything okay? Are you taking a break?
Yeah. I mean, I've been through some things where I was like, why is nobody asking if I'm
Yeah.
okay? And
Yes.
I think it's like, I mean, there's a danger, and maybe we're all oversharing. And
Hmm.
so it's like overload for people that they don't know what they can do. Or maybe they think that some people are sharing some of these things for attention. But like,
Yeah.
I know for me, it was kind of like becoming a public diary, a way to voice what was happening in my world and making sense of it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, people have surprised me, but I always think mostly they don't know what to do. They don't know what
Right.
to say. They think they're going to make it worse. And
Yeah.
I think just noticing is enough. Like
Yeah.
sometimes, you know,
Yes,
just like,
exactly, exactly. And even just doing a quick Google search of the phone number, the suicide hotline, or anything, and sharing that with them. But at the same time, I think I was thinking about this the other day, that yes, it's great that people are talking about mental health more, and normalizing being able to talk about it, about your own issues. And because back in the day, when my mom did it in 1999, and her friends had been trying to get her to go to therapy for years, and her response was always, if they can't bring my kids back, they can't help me. And
wow.
yeah, and so, and it's not like no one was paying attention to her and her issues, because she was an alcoholic, and and that was how she dealt with it. Well, not really,
Yeah.
uh, but I think that, like I said, people talking about it more, all of that is great. At the same time, there's this now become this catch-22, because I believe that back in 99, it was easier to find a therapist and just go to therapy.
Hmm.
And, now that people are talking about it and becoming more aware, they're becoming aware of their own issues that they didn't realize they maybe were struggling with. Now, like, no one has healthcare uh,
Right.
to afford, and everybody's busy working 2 and 3 jobs. When do they have time to go to therapy?
Oh my
They have
God.
to buy food for their kids, or for themselves. Even single people, can hardly
Right.
live on their own by themselves anymore without having a roommate or situation. So it's like, how it's hard, even for me, it's hard to look at someone and say, well, you need to go to therapy, because I know that about myself. I need to go to therapy. I think so. Most people, even if you don't feel like you're struggling with anything, most people would benefit from therapy, you know, help you
Well,
focus on something in your life. But
and if you can't afford therapy or you just can't go, or if the stigma of therapy is still too great, I feel like I read a book called Bowling Alone years ago, and it talked about how we're losing our institutions for connection and a sense of community. And so I think if there was one thing you could do on your own without external help from a professional, like, it's staying close to and building a community, not letting yourself get too isolated, and voicing what's going on to somebody that's close to you. So
yeah,
maybe having them look out for you, watch over each other.
yeah,
I
and
don't know.
and don't put parameters on who that person should be. You know, like a lot of people is- say like, oh, my partner is my one and only thing I need, or relationship I need, or I can tell them anything, and that's great. And yeah, do tell them everything that you want to tell them, but um, also, have one other person with a different perspective, you know.
Yeah, we
Um,
need friends. It takes a village, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it still takes a village to raise us as adults.
Well, I think we've covered everything, Bethany, although I'm sure we're going to have so much more to talk about in
I
person.
know. I could talk for hours. Yeah.
I know, me too. This has been so lovely and so meaningful, and I'm just, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's taken us this long to actually have a real
I
conversation.
know. I know. And it's all meant to be. It all happened when it
Mhm.
was supposed to happen.
It really feels that way. Oh my gosh. The universe is listening to us for the
Yeah.
moment.
Yes.
All right. Well, I am going to close this out. I hope that whoever is watching has learned something, maybe been inspired, motivated. And if you're interested in booking a session with me, reach out, please. And if you are having any issues, I'll leave a link for your mental health. And so, yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything
All
else
right.
you'd like to say?
Just thank you so much. And I can't wait. I'm excited.
Me too. We're going to have so much fun together. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for you to
Yes.
see the studio, and we're going to play, and you're going to look amazing. So,
Yes.
and also
Yeah.
I just want to say that Ro, my makeup artist, she is also gifting the makeup. So I'm so
Yes. And
thankful
that
to
is,
her.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
also amazing. Thank you
I
so much.
know. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see what she does. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I
Mwah.
will talk to you later.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Bethany.